Hi crew, hope you're having a great day today. Today I want to talk about this thing called lag time. One thing that's been coming up very frequently recently is this thought process or this almost expectation that, okay, I'm making these changes and nothing's happening. And what I want to talk about today is a couple things. Number one, whenever you're making a change, there is a lag time. Number two, the importance of habits and how not to focus on the outcome, but to focus on the process and the behaviors that are necessary to get to the outcome. And then number three is how to automate those. So first, let's talk about lag time. Let me use an analogy with you guys. So if you're driving, let's say it's winter, you're driving, it's icy. Let's say your car begins to skid out of control. When you turn that wheel and you try to make that car go in a different direction, what happens? Does it immediately go in that direction? No, it's skidding a little bit off to the side before it gets traction, and then it can turn its wheels and make that change in direction. The same thing applies to you whenever you're making a change. And yes, we're talking about this in terms of fitness, but this is any change that you're trying to make. You've been doing things in a specific way for so long that when you go to make these changes, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute for the fruits of this labor to catch up and begin to show fruit. Honestly, I think this is a challenge. I look at this as a healthy challenge of, if you're really worthy of the change, if you're really worthy of the outcome, if you really want this change, then you'll be able to push past that sticking point and be consistent and persist through that. So all change happens. It's not if you want it enough. It's not if you can focus on it enough. It's not if you push harder and just try harder and do all these things. It's, are you persistent enough? Are you persistent and have the audacious mentality that you can look forward and say, I'm not living in the here and now for this immediate pleasure, and this isn't enjoyable right now. I'm looking at the long term. What can I do long term? And I'm digging in, and I deserve this change. And that's kind of like the testing and the separating mechanism. This is where habits come into play. I say this so much, but I will repeat it. You are better off making 1 to 2 small changes that become habits daily that you do for the rest of your life than you are doing 1,000 things that make drastic changes immediately that you can't stick to, so the change doesn't stick and you revert back to old behaviors, or in this case, gaining weight back and then some and going backwards. This is why habits are so important, because, okay, you know what? I'm going to flip the script. Why do we focus so much? Why can't we stop focusing on the outcome, the need to be a certain weight and being a healthy person? Instead, shift our focus on what's the scientific method, what's the recipe for success that a healthy person has? What kind of behaviors, what kind of mindset, what kind of daily actions or habits or even thought processes? Like if you're going into the grocery store, how would a healthy person think? How would they enter into that grocery store? Are they going to go starving after a workout and just buying up all the sugary goodness because you have all these cravings? Are you going to go with your kids and let them pick out any sweets that they want, and then, oh, since Teddy Grahams is in the cupboard, that's what you're eating for your snack in the midday? What is the recipe? What are the behaviors? What is the science behind being a healthy person? And only focus on doing that. And then not only do you liberate yourself from the restriction and the chains that you're keeping on yourself by simply focusing on that outcome, and stressing yourself out, which is you're never gonna reach that outcome if you just stress on the outcome. So A, you free yourself, and B, you become that healthy person. You become that person who achieves that goal. If I'm in business and I'm like, I have to make $1 million, I have to make $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, I'm gonna drive myself insane. Instead, if I said, what do millionaires do? How do they think? How do they act? Are they, you know, checking social media 19,000 times a day? Do they have a plan for the day? I'm going to start to do those behaviors and really begin to love that process, find a way to love that process. And who knows, maybe I'll become a millionaire one day. And you know what? Maybe I won't, but at least I'll be happy. That brings me to my last point, is automating habits. So if it's all about habits, if our life is a result of our habits, and if there's a little bit of lag time whenever you're making change, there's a little gap before you start to see the fruits of your labor start to take hold, then we have to find a way to make these habits repeatable and semi-easy. There's going to be a challenge whenever you're changing habits, but easy enough to where you can implement it into your life, to where you're not thinking to yourself, oh, holy shit, how am I going to be able to keep this momentum? There's no freaking way. So one of the things that I like to do, let me just use like business as an example. So my goal, my focus is to build a thriving community and to make people feel cared for and heard. So I'll just give you a silly example. I get so busy sometimes that I forget what it is that I need to be doing to even make people feel like they're in a caring and welcoming and thriving community. So I literally have reminders and days, weekly and then also monthly on certain things to check in on. So like birthdays, I have a trigger for that. I have weekly tasks where I'm going through everybody's coaching calendars and programs, and I'm sending individual messages to them if need be. These are scheduled in my schedule to make sure that I do them. And this is what I recommend you guys doing too. What habits do you need to obtain as that healthy person, or that person that's going to achieve the goal that you desire? And then how do you automate that and make it repeatable with more ease? If it's getting to the gym first thing in the morning, then what you need to do is you need to automate a bedtime. Shut everything down at a certain time and set that alarm clock so that it's going off at the same time every single day, and not just during the work week, on the weekends too. Automate this and make it repeatable. This is the best tip that I can give anybody, because what you find yourself doing is you're falling in love with the person who's doing this process, not the outcome that person is going to achieve. It's never about a goal. It's about who you become on the journey to that goal. And if there is lag time, first of all, shift your expectations. You cannot expect instant results when you've been doing something for 30, 40, 50 plus years, and you've been, changing the way that you eat and getting more active for a week, and you expect the scale to budge. We're focused on the wrong thing here. We need to focus on the behaviors, the habits, falling in love with the process, because when you do that, the results take care of themselves. So I want to be uber clear about expectations, about what is lag time. But here's the encouraging note that I want to leave you with. There is lag time, yes, but when you hit that wave, let me tell you, it is momentous and it is exponential. I've had clients where I'm like, I mark my words, you've been at this for 2, 3, 4 months now, consistently, doing the consistent actions. I feel it, you're coming up on that wave. And right as I say that, the next month, everything just starts to starts to take off. And now we're cruising. So you are being tested always when you make a change. Dive into that, learn how to shift your mindset towards falling in love with the process, and then cultivating the daily habits, whether that's 1, 2, or 3 small shifts that you can make daily consistently, and then automate. The more habits you can automate daily or weekly or monthly or whatever that may be, the less energy you're spending on thinking about how to do those habits, and the more you can A, be present during that, and then B, try to implement more habits. So this is how we get in the success cycle. So thought it was really important to make this video, because a lot of people are having unrealistic expectations on the results that they're going to be seeing when they've just started the process, or worse yet, they've been at this for years and years and years, but they've been like this, consistent. They go on, then they fall off. So it's important to recognize that, You can't say I've been at this for a full year if you haven't really been at it for a full year. You've been on again, off again. It's like a relationship. You can't just be like, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. That person's gonna not trust you. And if you really want them to trust you, then it's gonna take like a long time after that of consistency for them to feel that there's an actual change present, and then you can have a relationship. Couple weird examples for you. I hope this helped in some way, and I know somebody needed to hear it because I know I've been having multiple conversations within the community, both online and in person. So if this video brought you value, or you think that somebody else does need to hear it, please share the video, please comment below, please light it up, because you know what that does? It's not for my ego, guys. It's to help get these videos out and to help share good value information with more and more people. That's all I want to do. So if this brought you value, please do let me know, and please hit the share and subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys very soon.